Wait, feel this moment before it passes, because something quiet, almost hidden, is moving beneath everything you thought was over. There's a silence around you that doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels like it's holding something back. And the reason is this: someone connected to you is carrying a weight they never expected to feel this deeply. They didn't plan for it to stay this long. They thought time would wash it away, that distance would make it easier, that you would slowly become just another memory. But that didn't happen. Instead, something inside them shifted, slowly at first, then all at once. And now, they are sitting with a realization that feels almost uncomfortable to face. Not because of what you did, but because of what they did. Pause for a second. Can you sense that? That quiet pull, that unspoken energy that hasn't fully disconnected? It's there because they are replaying moments, again and again, noticing things they didn't notice before, hearing words they didn't truly hear at the time. And here's where it changes. What once felt justified to them, now feels different. What once felt like confidence, now feels like something they wish they could take back. There is a kind of silence that comes when someone begins to see themselves clearly, and that is exactly where they are right now. Don't skip this part, because this is where most people misunderstand what's really happening behind the scenes. They are not just thinking about you. They are questioning themselves. Why did I act that way? Why didn't I pause? Why didn't I understand what was right in front of me? And these questions, they don't leave quickly. They sit there, quietly, growing heavier with every passing day. But here's the part no one talks about. Embarrassment is not just about regret. It's about awareness. It's the moment someone realizes they could have been different, but they weren't. And that realization, it changes everything. Because now, when they think of you, it's not the same version of you they once held in their mind. It's deeper, clearer, more real. They are starting to see what they couldn't see before, and that realization doesn't come with ease. It comes with a quiet discomfort they don't know how to express. Something important is waiting for you in this unfolding, because this isn't just about what they feel. It's about what they are becoming. And right now, they are standing at a point where they can no longer pretend nothing happened. They can't brush it off. They can't ignore it, because the truth has already reached them, slowly, quietly, but completely. And the more they try to move forward without facing it, the stronger it pulls them back. Not toward the past, but toward understanding. Stay a little longer, because what happens next is not about apology, not yet. It's about the moment just before it. The moment where everything inside them begins to shift in a way they didn't expect, and honestly, didn't feel ready for. And that moment, it's closer than you think. And yet, something inside them refuses to stay quiet any longer. It's subtle at first, like a thought they try to brush away, but it keeps returning, stronger each time, asking for their attention in a way they can't ignore. Because now, it's no longer just about remembering what happened. It's about feeling it, really feeling it. The weight of their actions, the tone of their words, the moments they dismissed too quickly, all of it is beginning to echo differently in their mind. And here's the shift that changes everything. They are no longer seeing the situation from their own perspective. They are seeing it from yours. Pause, let that sink in. Because this is rare, and it doesn't happen unless something deeper has awakened inside them. They are starting to understand how it must have felt for you, not in a surface, level way, but in a way that reaches them emotionally, quietly, honestly. And that realization, it doesn't come with ease. It comes with a kind of stillness that makes them stop what they're doing, even in the middle of their day, even when they're surrounded by others. There are moments where they suddenly go silent, not because they have nothing to say, but because their thoughts have taken them somewhere they didn't expect to go. Back to you. Back to that moment. Back to the version of themselves they can no longer recognize without feeling something shift inside. Don't skip this, because this is where things begin to turn in a way that most people never see coming. They are beginning to notice what they lost, not in terms of presence, but in terms of connection. The way you understood them, the way you responded without needing explanation, the way there was something unspoken between you that felt natural, effortless. They didn't value it fully then, but now, in its absence, it stands out more clearly than ever. And here's the quiet truth. Embarrassment has now turned into something deeper. Respect. Not just for you, but for the way you handled everything. The way you didn't react in the way they expected. The way you held your ground without creating chaos. The way you chose silence when it mattered most. They see it now, and that recognition, it humbles them in a way they didn't anticipate. There's a moment, very quiet, almost invisible, where they admit to themselves, I misjudged this. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a soft acknowledgement, but powerful enough to shift their entire perspective. And once that thought appears, it doesn't leave. It lingers, reshaping how they remember you, how they interpret every interaction, how they now feel when your name crosses their mind. Stay with this, because something important is unfolding beneath all of this awareness. They are reaching a point where thinking is no longer enough, where reflection turns into intention, where silence begins to feel heavier than words. And that's when the next phase begins. The phase they can't prepare for. The phase where they start asking themselves a different question. Not, what happened? But, what do I do now? And that question, it doesn't come without consequence. But then, something unexpected begins to surface, and it catches them off guard. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself. It's a quiet urge, almost like a whisper inside them that says, this cannot stay unfinished. And that feeling, it lingers longer than they want it to, because now, it's no longer about understanding or reflecting. It's about facing you. Think about that for a moment. All the thoughts they've been holding, all the realizations they've been quietly processing, they are slowly building toward one unavoidable point, a moment of truth. And here's where it becomes even more intense. They don't know how to approach it. There's hesitation, not out of fear of you, but out of awareness of themselves. They know that whatever they say next, has to come from a different place than before. Not rushed, not careless, not reactive, because now they understand what's at stake. And this awareness, it slows them down. You might feel like nothing is happening, like everything has gone still. But beneath that stillness, something is preparing itself carefully. Don't skip this, because this is the part where most people misread the silence. Silence does not always mean absence. Sometimes, it means someone is choosing their next step with more care than they ever have before. They are replaying possible conversations in their mind. What should I say? How do I begin? Will it even matter now? These questions, they circle around them, not letting them settle easily. Because deep down, they know this isn't just another conversation. This is the kind that shifts direction. The kind that either restores something, or finally brings closure in a way that feels real. And here's the part that holds everything together. They don't want to repeat the same version of themselves. That version, the one who acted without thinking, who didn't pause, who didn't see you clearly. They can't go back to that anymore. Something inside them won't allow it. So now, they wait, not for the perfect moment, but for the right feeling. Because this time, it has to be genuine. You might notice small signs, subtle shifts, energy that feels different but hard to explain. That's because the connection hasn't disappeared. It's evolving, quietly, beneath the surface. Stay a little longer, because something important is forming right now. They are moving from realization to readiness. And once someone reaches that point, they don't stay silent forever. There's a moment, a very specific moment, where everything inside them aligns. And when it does, they won't just think about reaching out, they will feel like they have to, not out of pressure, but out of clarity. And that moment, it's closer than it has ever been. And just when it seems like everything has settled into silence, something within them refuses to stay contained. It begins as a quiet tension, not uncomfortable, but undeniable, like a truth waiting at the edge of being spoken. They try to distract themselves, move through their routine, keep things normal on the surface. But beneath it all, there's a steady pull, back to you, back to that unfinished space between what was said, and what should have been said. Pause here for a moment. Because this is where everything becomes delicate. They are no longer asking if they should reach out. They are asking how to do it without losing the sincerity they've just discovered. And that question, it slows everything down. They don't want to rush this. Not anymore. There's a kind of careful energy around them now, a quiet preparation, like someone standing at the edge of a conversation that could change everything. They think about your reaction, not with fear, but with respect. They wonder if you've moved on, if your silence means closure, if your calmness was actually strength they failed to recognize. And that thought, it humbles them even more, because now they see. You were never reacting from weakness. You were choosing your peace. And that realization, it shifts how they feel about approaching you completely. Don't skip this, because this is where something rare begins to take shape. They are no longer focused on explaining themselves. They are focused on understanding you. And when someone reaches that place, their words change, their energy changes, even their silence changes. You may not hear anything yet, no message, no direct sign. But something subtle is moving closer. It's in the way their thoughts return to you more often. The way certain moments remind them of you without warning. The way your presence still feels near, even without contact. That's not coincidence. That's awareness growing deeper. Stay with this, because something important is aligning behind the scenes. They are starting to accept something they avoided before. That what they feel now is real, not temporary, not imagined, real. And once that acceptance settles in, it creates a quiet urgency, not rushed, not overwhelming, but steady, certain. And this is where everything begins to lean toward action, because awareness without action begins to feel incomplete, and they are reaching a point where staying silent no longer feels right. There's a moment coming, not loud, not dramatic, but undeniable, a moment where they stop overthinking, and simply choose to be honest. No defenses, no distractions, just truth. And when that moment arrives, it won't feel like an impulse. It will feel like something they've been slowly building toward all along. Stay a little longer, because what happens next isn't just about them anymore. It's about what unfolds between both of you. When silence finally turns into something real. And then, without warning, the moment they've been circling finally begins to take shape. Not perfectly, not all at once, but enough to feel undeniable. It doesn't arrive as a grand decision, it comes quietly, like a breath they've been holding for too long, finally released. Something inside them settles, and in that stillness, they realize they can't keep carrying this without expressing it. Pause here. Because this is where everything shifts from inner movement to outer reality. They stop rehearsing the perfect words. They stop trying to control how it will be received. Instead, they begin to focus on something far more important. Being real. For the first time, they are not thinking about how they will appear. They are thinking about how it will feel, for you. And that awareness, it guides them differently. There's a softness in their approach now, a careful honesty that wasn't there before. Not because they've become someone else, but because they've finally seen what truly matters. Don't skip this, because this is the turning point most people never witness. They are no longer avoiding the truth. They are preparing to stand inside it. And here's the part that carries the deepest meaning. They are not expecting anything in return. Not immediate understanding, not instant connection, not even a response. What they are seeking is alignment. To say what was left unsaid, to acknowledge what they've come to understand, to bring clarity where there was once confusion. And that intention, it carries a different kind of energy. You might feel it before anything actually happens. A shift, subtle but noticeable. As if something unfinished is finally finding its way back toward completion. Because when someone reaches this level of awareness, their presence begins to change, even from a distance. Stay with this, because something important is about to unfold. They begin to accept that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the only way forward now. And that acceptance, it opens the door they once kept closed. There's a quiet moment, almost invisible, where they make the choice. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a simple, steady decision. I will speak. And once that decision is made, everything else starts to follow. The hesitation begins to fade. The overthinking loses its hold. The fear of imperfection becomes less important than the need for truth. And this is where you need to understand something. What's coming next won't feel forced. It won't feel rushed. It will feel intentional. Every word, every pause, every part of it will carry the weight of everything they've come to realize. And when that reaches you, you will feel the difference, not because of what is said, but because of how deeply it is meant. Stay a little longer. Because the next moment isn't just about them finding their voice. It's about what happens when that voice finally reaches you, and something long held in silence begins to move again.